Have you ever been the victim of a scam? I know that I have. In this video, I want to talk about a scam we call multi-factor authentication bombing, or MFA fatigue. This is the idea that you receive so many MFA requests to your phone that you're tempted to approve them when you don't know where they come from, allowing an attacker into your environment. Hey guys, Alex Riles here from MicroAge. Today's video is going to be a little bit of a public service announcement. We're going to talk about scams, and in particular, a nasty one that we call MFA bombing or MFA fatigue. Now, first of all, what is MFA? That's multi-factor authentication. A factor of authentication is some mechanism you use to prove you are who you say you are. The four factors of authentication we typically think about are something you know in your head, that's like a password, or something that you have, that could be a code that's texted to your phone via text messaging, or maybe a code you get from an authenticator app. It could be something you are. This would be like a fingerprint scan or maybe a facial scan. Or it could be somewhere you are. Think of a geographic location you would have to be in order to log into a particular system. If you have two or more of these factors of authentication, then that is multi-factor authentication. The most common ones, of course, are entering a username and password plus a code that you might be text to your phone or from your authenticator app. So what is MFA bombing or MFA fatigue? This is a cyber attack type where a threat actor is going to repeatedly send you multi-factor authentication requests to your device. And the idea is to overwhelm you and frustrate you to the point where you just accept the MFA request even though you have no idea where it came from. Here's how it works. Let's say you're driving down the road in the car, or maybe you're on a business meeting on Zoom, or possibly you're having a private conversation with a friend. In other words, you're busy. And you get a MFA request to your phone. Let's say it's a push notification from Microsoft Authenticator. That's an authenticator app that we use sometimes to log into a Microsoft environment. So the push notification comes in and says, do you approve this MFA request or deny the request? And you're like, I'm busy, I'm not trying to log into anything, deny. Great. 10 seconds later, you get a second push request and it comes up to your phone and you say deny. And then 10 seconds later, a third request, deny. A fourth request, deny. After 3 solid minutes of MFA requests coming at you every 10 seconds, sometimes we get so fatigued and tired of this MFA bombing attack that we just hit accept because we want them to go away and we're not thinking about what's really happening on the back end. So let's talk about what just really happened. A threat actor got access to your username and password, most likely from a data dump from some type of data breach, and he bought it online on the dark web. He's now logged into your account with your username and password, and that triggers an MFA request to your phone to verify you are the one logging in. And when you hit deny, that's a great thing because you're denying that threat actor from logging into your account. But as soon as you get frustrated and hit approve, now the threat actor is logged into your account. This has actually happened to almost every company I've worked at. We've had various employees who've been victim to MFA bombing or MFA fatigue. So what are the consequences of this type of attack? First of all, now the threat actor has access to your private information, and they might get that data out of your profile and use it in an identity theft attack. They could open a credit card in your name potentially, or open some other type of account. Additionally, they might steal your corporate data. Maybe it's your client list or sales information from your customers. Or maybe they're taking your financial information if you have spreadsheets on your laptop about corporate financials or maybe even banking information. So the consequences of an MFA bombing attack can be pretty severe. So what exactly do we do to prevent this type of attack from happening? There's 7 things I want to tell you about that you could do to prevent an MFA bombing attack. Number 1 is use strong and unique passwords. Now, what is a strong password? That's a password that is more than 12 characters. I'm less interested in the uppercase, lowercase, special character once you get to be 12, 14 characters as I am about the length. The longer the password, the better. This is what we call entropy. So I like to use passphrases. This is a whole sentence that is long. My passwords are usually around 20 characters. That way, sometimes I can remember them if they're an important password. Most of the time though, they're always unique. So an MFA password, a password that matches your username always needs to be strong and unique. And you may say to me, Alex, I have hundreds of passwords. I can't possibly make them all unique. And the truth is, that's why we invented password managers. Password managers will store all your usernames and passwords and auto-populate them into your web forms on your phone or on your browser on your mobile device. So what this allows us to do with a password manager is not just store usernames and passwords, but lots of other pieces of information you might want to keep that's personal to you, like credit card data, driver's license numbers, even passkeys, which we'll talk about in a minute. Number 2 is change your password immediately if you experience an MFA bombing attack. In other words, if you get multiple requests to your phone saying, do I approve, do I deny, or you get multiple text messages with codes to your phone and you didn't try to log into anything, you need to think to yourself, that's a threat actor who's already got your password and is trying to log into your account. So you go log in and change your password right away. Number 3 is use a multi-factor authentication solution that handles MFA fatigue. Generally speaking, we don't want to pummel our employees with nonstop MFA requests every single time they try to log into any business application. Instead, we want to be smart about it. For instance, if I'm on a corporate laptop on my corporate network, maybe I don't push an MFA request to the user because I trust their device and I trust where they are. But if they take the same corporate device and go to a hotel as an example, or Starbucks, maybe I do want to put a multi-factor authentication push or code sent to the user just to make sure that they are who they say they are. And if they're on a device I've never seen, on a network I've never seen, maybe I don't just do MFA once, maybe multiple times through the journey of that user using an application, I want to double check they are who they say they are and send them additional MFA request. But use a smart identity and access management system that handles MFA in a smart way. Number 4 is employee user awareness training. It's important that all of our employees see this type of training that I'm providing today and understand what MFA bombing is, how it works, and what the consequences of it are. There's a lot of great user awareness training applications out on the market today, from KnowBe4 or Proofpoint or Mimecast or Sophos. There's many of them on the market. Make sure you're using those to train your users on a regular basis about all sorts of cybersecurity threats. Number 5 is policies. So in your identity and access management system, consider having a policy that limits the number of MFA requests that can go out to your user within a certain period of time, maybe an hour. For instance, maybe the policy says that you can't have more than 5 or 6 MFA requests within 1 hour period. That would prevent an MFA bombing attack where a threat actor is trying to send you MFA requests every 10 seconds over a short period of time. Now, number 6 is probably the most effective mitigation strategy I can mention to you, and that is a passwordless solution. Our society is programmed to use usernames and passwords to log into systems, but the truth is that is no longer a safe form of authentication. Passwordless is the new way we want to start logging into our business applications. All that means is, instead of using your username and password, or maybe MFA code to your phone, we're going to use encryption keys to validate you are who you say you are. A business application I'm trying to log into might have my public key, and my private key is stored in my device or my password manager. And in order to log in, I'm simply taking both keys, comparing them, and validating that the public key out on the market matches the private key that only I have. A threat actor doesn't have it. And so I can now assert a claim that I am who I say I am and log into a system. I don't need a password at all in that scenario. Therefore, there's nothing for a threat actor to have in order to log into my system. It's probably the most effective way we can log into our applications today. This is a FIDO2 standard passkeys. You can also have your passkeys on YubiKeys, which is a great little device that you can plug into your laptop or your device, and allows you to log in automatically to your applications. Number 7 is a concept. And this concept is what we call defense in depth. This is the idea that instead of just relying on a password and maybe an MFA key, we're going to now require multiple phases of security. For instance, I could have endpoint security on my laptop, and if I detect that there's some sort of malware on that laptop or behavior that looks like malware, maybe I don't accept any authentication from that device or the user of that device until we reset their account. Maybe I have an email security solution, and if I see a phishing email and I saw the user click the link in the phishing email, I will probably not allow any sort of authentication from that user until we reset their account. So I could use multiple types of systems in a defense in-depth strategy to make sure that our environment is secure. I hope this has been helpful to think about 7 ways that you can prevent MFA bombing to you or to your company. So stay tuned next time for another CyberBite video on cybersecurity protection. Thanks.